Okay, for those of you who are sheep natives, and this also includes goat or ram, we're going to be looking at 3 different points. One, we're going to be looking at where you are in your 12-year cycle. We're going to be looking at how your sign interacts with the sign of the year, in this case pig, and I'm going to be telling you a specific Feng Shui cure you can use to bring in money. Okay, sheep natives, let's look at where you are on your 12-year cycle. When we look at the 12-year cycle, we're using the metaphor of a year on the farm. This means we divide the 12 years into 3 different seasons. And you are in the second season, the middle of the second season, and this is called seed tending. This is when all the seeds are planted, and now you're having to make sure that the seeds are getting all the things that they need. That is, that they're getting water, they're getting fertilizer, that you're keeping it weed-free, that you're keeping the pests out. So this is a very hard-working time. We're looking at this period of time as a time where you might be going to school and working, or you have a full-time job and you have a side business, or that you have a very busy family life while you're working full-time. This is a time where you are juggling a lot of different things. Now, all this juggling is for a purpose. The purpose is because you want this better life, and so you're willing to work hard to do it right now, and that's ideal during this seed tending time. This is not going to be forever. In a few years, you will get into the harvest period, and all of this hard work will pay off. As it is for now, it's paying off a little bit. When you look at the fields, maybe there's some early lettuce that you can eat, but for the most part, most of what you see is, you see blossoms on the trees, and those blossoms are going to turn into fruit. You see the sprouts in the ground, and you know that underneath there's a carrot growing, or there's potatoes that are going to be happening. So there are so many opportunities that can happen during this year, but most of them are down the road. Now, this doesn't mean you can't get a new job, or you can't transfer, or you can't, it doesn't even block you from a promotion. It does mean, though, that it's going to, whatever it is that comes, it's going to bring more work. So that is, if you get into the new position, there's quite a learning curve. If you are branching out into a second job, of course there's more work. And so whatever it is that you want to do, let's say that you wanted to start making videos and you say, well, I'm just going to set up a camera and be done. But then you find out, oh my goodness, there's lighting involved, and what do I do about the sound, and how do I edit? And so there's this whole big learning curve, but it's worth it. So it's important for you to recognize that these seeds you planted, the things that you wanted to do, you need to go do those, and this is the time. Now we're going to look at how your sign, sheep or goat or ram, interacts with the energy for the sign of the year, which is pig. And this is very harmonious energy. It's harmonious in the sense that both sheep and pig live in the barnyard. They don't compete for space, they don't compete for food, and they don't fight with each other. So there's a lot of harmonious energy this year. Now, in addition, there is this energy of being intuitive. And sheep, you are one of the most intuitive signs of the Chinese zodiac. And this is what people are looking for this year. Because in the highly sensitive year of the pig, people want to be understood. They want to be heard. And here you come along with this sixth sense of knowing what it is that people want you to say to make them feel good and comfortable. So this means that you have many more opportunities than other signs because you're in such harmony with this energy. It means when you walk into your boss's office, you can tell instantly, oh, the boss is upset about this. I will reassure the boss that I'm going to have this on time. Or the boss is really happy and doesn't really want to talk about work, so we're going to talk about something else. You're going to be able to fall into step quite easily with what's needed at the time. And of course, I don't even have to tell you how much this can help in your relationships. This means you can be more in harmony with your relationship, no matter what sign they are, because your intuition is highly activated this year. Now, another thing that's really notable about sheep energy is that sheep is always climbing to get the better grass. So you're always looking for, how are things improving? How am I getting better? Now, this energy can be very, very harmonious with pig energy, because pig is saying, look, I want things easy. And so the pig energy may not be going for that bigger promotion, leaving you to just scoop up that opportunity. It may mean that somebody in your life says, well, whatever you want to do. And then you get to choose. You get to go for what you want, and they're supporting you. So for sheep natives, I chose one of my very favorite Feng Shui cures, which is the Lucky Money Cat. You're familiar with this cat because you've seen him in Chinese restaurants, Chinese markets, lots of different places. He's the little gold cat who's sitting up. He's holding a sign that says 10,000 pounds of gold, and he's waving his hand. I don't think you can see that. He's waving his hand. I have to do this hand. He's waving his hand. Now, he might look like he's waving like this, but that's just because of the arm mechanism. He's actually doing this. Now, let me tell you the story of why this little cat is lucky, because this is what we call a culturally specific cure. There are universal cures and there are culturally specific cures. Universal cures are things like coins. Everybody knows that coins draw money because they are money. But culturally specific cures are ones from a specific culture, and so therefore the understanding or the meaning of that cure may not be evident to you. And actually, I don't believe that the Lucky Money Cat originated in China. I believe it originated in Japan. But here's the story. Once there was a monk, and this monk lived out in the woods, and he tended a temple. And so every day he would clean the temple and make sure that everything was ready for people who might come by. This temple wasn't visited by many people, and so this monk was very poor. He didn't have much to eat, but every day he worked very hard to keep the temple ready for guests. One day when he was making his supper, a little cat came up to him and looked at his supper, and so the monk, being a very generous monk, gave half of his supper to the cat, and the cat stayed. And so the monk went on tending the temple, and the cat would share his meal every night. Well, one day a nobleman was going from one town to another through the woods, and there was a great storm, and he stopped and got off his horse and was taking shelter under a tree during the storm. And in the flashes of lightning, he saw the little temple. And out from the temple comes a little cat. And the cat sat up on his haunches and seemed to call to him. The cat waved to him. The nobleman was so surprised, he came out from under the shade of the tree to see what the cat was doing. And at that moment, lightning strikes the tree. And the nobleman realizes the cat has saved his life. And so he goes and finds the monk, and he says, I will support the temple. And the monk and the cat had then abundant food and many visitors. Everything was happy. And so this is how this cat came to be lucky. Now, the Lucky Money Cat can be in the form of a bank. I love the little banks because then you can put money in. But choose a Lucky Money Cat that you find cute. Not all of them are banks. For this purpose, choose one that is metallic gold because this draws the most money. Now you want to place your Lucky Money Cat so he can see your door. Now this would be your front door or the door to your home office. You would place him so he's some distance from the door across the room because he's pulling the money into the house. So he would sit on a shelf or on a table at least 6 or 7 feet away from the door, but he could be clear across the room. But you do want to be able to see him. So he can't be so small that when you're standing at the front door, you can't see him. Now, he can have an arm that moves by itself. They have battery-operated ones. They also have solar-powered ones. But if you choose one that doesn't have an arm that moves, that's fine too. His left arm can be up, or his right arm can be up. Doesn't matter. We're just looking for a cat you find attractive. And then, if he is a bank, you want to place money, put money in the bank, at least a few coins every week. Now, do this until the lucky money cat is full, and then empty it out, put that money in your savings account, and then start filling him up again. And then about once a month, you want to dust him off to really give him that energy, or check his batteries, or make sure that he's fully charged if he's solar power, so that he's constantly bringing in that energy. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I do teach classes on Feng Shui, so check out my website. The link is in the description box below. And I'll see you in the next video.